Well, hello, hello. This is Rose RCG Creations. How are you doing? I'm bringing to you a baking recipe. And I'm using my old trusty Betty Crocker cookbook, which is falling apart. It's like, ugh, I need to go take it to like a Kinko's or FedEx place and get it fixed. I just haven't done it yet. I'll probably do that right after the holidays. Anyway, I'm having some girlfriends come over. We're going to be making candles and soap to give away as Christmas gifts. So I got my bowl. I got to heat the oven to 375. Let me go do that right quick here. And then I'm going to mix all my ingredients. And of course, like usual, I will put in the dish pop-up of all the ingredients. And then I'll do the full recipe in the description box. So that part is done. I had to raise my racks, so I might have to do two cookie sheets, but I'm not for sure. I don't want these to be really big. We want to kind of like finger size, so I'm going to use this little one. I have 3 different sizes of these little cookie scoopers. Okay, so let's get started. 1 cup of sugar, and y'all know me, I like to do all my dry ingredients at one time. And this didn't ask for any, I guess the pumpkin is the liquid, and there's no liquid in this recipe. This is my first time making pumpkin cookies. So we'll see how it turns out, but you know, it's Betty Crocker, and as long as I follow the directions, they should turn out pretty good. I already have my cookie sheet. It's lined with a silicone mat. It says line it on an ungreased cookie sheet. Okay, let me get my leveler. And I do want to invest in, oh, I just spilt. My first thing I spilled already. It's like, ah. I do want to invest in getting a square set of containers for my flour and my sugar. Oh, look at that, look at that. Oh, man. But I did start off with a clean, sanitized table. So, but I spilled all over this thing on my little baggie that I keep here on the side. So I will have to vacuum. Because you know, when it comes to flour and sugar, you need to vacuum everything all the way around it. So that's going to be my chore after everybody leaves today, is to vacuum this whole, I need to sweep, I'm more likely need to sweep and mop the whole kitchen floor anyway. So now there's my incentive to do it right away. So I added myself an extra chore for being a little messy baker. Anyway, so that's the way it goes. So let's move on. Mix the sugar, pumpkin, shortening, and the orange peel. I don't have any orange peel, because I went ahead and saved all my oranges for my home household cleaner. I'll put a link on that if I remember. Okay, so let's do the pumpkin, because it says mix it all up. And it did say for 1 can of pumpkin. And always now, keep in mind, there is 100% pure pumpkin, and then there's pumpkin pie filling. So make sure you pay attention to the can before you purchase it, because some recipes require it to be full pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling, because that's a whole different ingredient. I learned that from another YouTuber. I'm trying to remember who it was that told me that. If I remember, I think it was Jenny Go. I like to watch her channel. I'll put her information and a link to her her YouTube channel in the description box. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Jenny Go, because I was watching one of her recipes, and I never, to be honest with you, until she said that, I never knew there was a difference. I just thought pumpkin pie was pumpkin pie. But apparently whole pumpkin It's just the actual pumpkin itself with no fillers. That's why it says 100% pure. And that's what you want to look for, 100% pure. Of whatever brand it is that you're using, or if you're lucky enough to have a garden and grow your own pumpkins, you can make your own. Okay, so there's the pumpkin. Mix the sugar in the pumpkin and the shortening. I need my shortening. And we need 1/2 cup. I gotta have my readers on. I can't read very well. So get my readers on. I changed the glasses. I have like 6 different pairs, so I just switched them around. Okay, we're gonna want 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup. I don't think I'm going to need this one. Let's move this out of the way. Give myself more room. 1/2 cup. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to use this because I don't want to break that spoon. That's just a leveler. It's not really a spoon. It's a lever that came with my, this is my Pampered Chef measuring cup and spoon set that I ordered from them. Oh, keep in mind when you're using with acrylic, hold from the bottom when you're pressing in like your brown sugar or like you're shortening like I'm doing right here. That way if it happens to crack on you, you don't damage your item. So hold it from the bottom because shortening is kind of stiff. Okay, that's good enough for me. I'm just going to use the spoon to spoon it out with. And I press down on it so I get a full measurement of that it's required by the recipe. Okay, I don't want to get my hands dirty yet. I think I might, but I'm hoping I don't have to. But I got my trusty little hand towel right here next to me in case I do. Okay, and then I personally like to clean out my top layer when I'm putting a lid on something, like with my brown sugar, just to keep the bugs and messy fingers from going into the pantry. Because you know, if you wipe your stuff down, you put your lid on, a bunch of cookie stuff comes out right here. Oh, let me show you. I'm using my Crisco shortening. Okay, so now let's mix this baby up. Let me get my readers off. So I'm just going to mix this up so it's all incorporated. You know what? This is December, what's today? The 5th? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, today's December the 5th or 6th. I forget what day. And I had to turn my AC on. It was so hot. It's in the mid-70s today. Yesterday it was kind of cool. Not cold, but cool. But I didn't have to have no AC on. Today I woke up and I'm on my week's vacation, so I'm enjoying it. I'm getting up late. An hour late. It's not late for me, but it is late. Even though I'm on vacation, I still can't get up early. My automatic clock comes. Ah! I just spilt. I could just felt it. I spilt. Splattered. Thank goodness for my apron. So, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to squish the shortening into the mix so it mixes good. This is one thing I learned from a friend of mine who's an avid baker, and boy, she does some wonderful items. When you're working with shortening, she said, is really incorporate it. You don't want a whole bunch of, a little chunks are okay, but you don't want the big chunks. Like, see that right there? Those are the big chunks right there. Those right there, those are the big ones. And you want to mash those up and incorporate them with your product. Okay, I just felt something. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I felt pumpkin. Okay. Okay, so all we're doing now is just mixing this up to incorporate the shortening into the mix. Oh, my timer's on. My oven's ready. I just want to get that one big little lump of shortening mixed up good. Okay, here it comes. It's finally mixing it in. Okay, so, oh, I got some on my book. Alrighty, next we're going to stir in the flour. So it asks for 2 cups of all-purpose flour, or you could use whole wheat flour. And I know I just grabbed some whole wheat, but this flour is old, and I want to use it up before I do my whole wheat. And since this recipe doesn't really make a difference which ones it is, okay, so it asks for 2 cups of flour. Yep, I definitely want to do the square containers to be easy to scoop in and out and not make a big mess like I just did with my sugar. I'm going to take some of that off because I'm going to level this out. And yeah, I'm spilling a little bit, but you know, it's close enough. So that's 1 scoop, so I'm going to just do a little bit less because of the extra that fell into the mix. Yes, I can get another bowl and do this in another bowl, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm in a hurry. I want to hurry up and get these done and made and in the oven. So that way when my girlfriends come over, see how there's a little bit of indention in there? Is that's kind of making up, I'm eyeballing it. It's kind of making up for the extra that I had in the, look at this. I don't know why I'm such a mess. You know what it is I'm rushing and I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. And I need to slow down. Okay, I'm just going to move this on over. Okay. Baking powder, so it calls for 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon. Baking powder. Baking powder, and I'm using Clabberl. There was some on the lid and it spilt. That's spill number 3. It's like, Okay, next is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Here's my baking soda. You know, I went to 3 different stores a couple days ago because I need some more baking. This is the last of my baking soda. And none of them had any in stock. And they were already 3 days behind in having the truck come in. So it's like, oh no. It's going to put a damper in your baking if you don't have baking soda. And I'm using up a clean part of my spoon that doesn't have the shortening on it to give myself a level spoonful. Okay, baking soda out of the way. So we're stirring the flour, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon. It asks for 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Okay, close enough. When it comes to baking, because I don't know enough yet, I like to really do as close to the recipe as possible. The cooking part, I'm a lot more comfortable with that. So I can eyeball it and I'm good to go with that. Next thing it asks for, let me get my readers to make sure. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now this is my regular table salt that I keep on my counter, on my stove. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And this is extra fine table salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. We're not doing any raisins because I don't do raisins, and I'm not doing nuts because hubby doesn't do nuts. So these are just going to be plain. Now we just want to mix it all up. Let me get this out of my way. Let me get my dirty tools out of the way. Where's my spoon? Oh, what did I do? Oh, duh. Bowl. Now we're just going to mix this up. And I am going to mix it up slowly until it gets all incorporated. And hopefully I don't have a bunch of mess. Let me take my readers off. I don't need these anymore now. Because now it's just a matter of mixing it all up and dropping it by spoonfuls onto the cookie sheet and put them in the oven. And they're going to bake at 375 degrees from anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. Now, because it's a bunch of ladies coming over and we're all trying to do our weight program, I'm not going to sprinkle this with powdered sugar on top, but that's a good way to do it. Now, when I go to a function where there's going to be kids, I definitely will sprinkle the top of the baked cookies with powdered sugar. Not all of them, but some of them. Just to have a little bit of extra little sweetness in there. Okay. Just read and make sure, stir the raisins up, which we're not doing. Okay, so it's just a matter of mixing this up. And let me get my scraper, because again, like I said, I'm trying not to get my fingers dirty. Takes a little bit extra work, but that's okay. I'm good to go with that. We've got time. I've got still another hour and a half before the girls show up, which is more than enough time to make these, get them in the oven, and wash my dishes before they all arrive. And I'm just scraping the bowl because I want to make sure it's all incorporated. I can see pieces of shortening are in here. And you know shortening will melt with the heat, but I'm trying to get as much of it mixed in with the pumpkin mix as much as possible. So this is why it's good to work with a bowl that's bigger than what you think you're going to need, because for times like this, if you need to scrape an ingredient, you've got plenty of room. See what I'm doing is I'm just scraping the pieces of shortening against the wall of the bowl so they get mixed up pretty good, because it's going to melt anyway in the oven, but you want to get yourself an equal portions of all the ingredients. And I'm going to do a little taste test just to make sure they taste okay. That's good. I'm going to wipe my hand. Make sure I don't use this because other people will be using this. Let me get my stuff out of the way. Let me bring my cookie sheet over here so we can start scooping. But let me clean up this mess just a little bit. I'll bring you right back. Okay, we are back. We're ready to start scooping. Cleaned up my mess, wiped it down. I got my little silicone mat on my cookie sheet. Oh, you know what? I forgot to find out if these spread. It didn't say if they spread a lot. Drop dough by teaspoons onto ungreased cookie sheet. Bake till light brown 8 to 10 minutes. Immediately remove from the cookie sheet to cool. Spread with light brown glaze, which I'm not making that glaze because, like I said, we are all trying to do a little bit of weight loss. And then I'm just going to continue to do this. I think that will spread just a little bit, not a whole lot. So I bet you I'm going to need myself another cookie sheet. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of these on here. So I want to make this a nice quick little video for you. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing this, and then I'll bring you back when we do the taste test. Okay, we are back. And it did take This one, whole cookie sheet that I started with the first time. And then I got this other cookie sheet. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. About 36 cookies. So they look cute. And I will bring this up in just a second. Let me just get the last one because it says immediately put them on a cookie rack, a cooling rack to cool off. I've turned the oven off, so it's going to turn off. Let me get my hot plates out of the way. So here is all of my cookies. So I'm gonna let them cool off, but let's go ahead and do a taste test because the girls should be here pretty soon. These part over here got off first. Let's coat to the middle. Oh yeah, look at that. It's definitely cooked inside. See that? Now let's do the taste test. Now, personally, I would have opted for. I'm gonna put a little note in the cookbook. I would add more sugar, but because we are on a low cal, and like I said, this is my first time making it, I went ahead and just followed it to the T. But I would definitely add about another. I would do about another, whatever half a half is. Is that what, 1/4, 1/8, 1/4? Whatever half of a cup is what I would do it. Because they're sweet, but they're not really sweet. But take this in mind. If you're going to sprinkle powdered sugar on them, leave it exactly the way it is. Because the powdered sugar topping is going to be more than enough. And then also remember, the recipe did have a glaze that you put on top of them. That's why you don't want so much sugar in the cookie itself. But if you're going to do these with no glazing, no powdered sugar, no icing, definitely add. I would do, it asked for, what was it, one cup? It was pretty, yeah, 1 cup of sugar. So I would do 1 1/2 of whatever a half is. I'll look it up and I'll put it as a pop-up of what half of a half measure it is, because I don't know. But these are a definite win-win. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one. We're going to enjoy our cookies and our friendships today. And we're going to make some candles. Take care. Oh, we're also going to be making some soap too. Okay, great. Bye-bye.